Welcome back to Worlds 2018. It is almost time for game number 2. Summoners Cup on the line next weekend. Fnatic are up 1-0 over North America's Cloud9 here. A very one-sided game. Cloud9 outmatched by Fnatic. Kind of roll by roll, it felt like. 2 more to go for Fnatic if they want to sweep this.
Yeah, and C9, they picked blue side. No surprise after the last game where Fnatic, they managed to get basically everything they wanted. Early pick LeBlanc, they got to pair that with the Licen from Broxah. That combination was obviously fantastic between the 2 players. And they still managed to get things like a Sivir for Rekkles and of course Bwipo. Blind picks his Viktor. Did not actually get punished by the counter pick, mainly due to roams and ganks.
Exactly, and we're trying to look at, what does need to change for this series to get more competitive. And a lot of focus was used on the bottom side of the map, trying to target Rekkles with some of the champion bans there, but he still got a very comfortable setup where, Sivir, one of the champions that we associate with him actually for years now, and he seems very comfortable, especially into a Tristana where you can spell shield.
The E is so free.
Yeah,
you can spell shield late. It's so not a problem.
Exactly. It stacks up. It's very clear when it's stacking up. So he definitely had a very good showing on the bottom side, but the biggest fires were in the top side of the map, and Broxah, Caps, and Bwipo all together.
Yeah, so I want to see what C9 wants to first pick. On red side, they banned Irelia, Akali, Aatrox. So 3 of them are considered like OPs or S-tier picks right now in the meta. They banned Irelia, Akali on blue side against FLICKR as well in all 3 games in the quarterfinal. Will that be the same, or will they try and threaten a potential Akali first pick? It could be huge for either Jensen or Licorice, but they gotta change up at least a couple of things because last game, it was over almost 10 minutes in.
Yeah, we were actually having this discussion on the dive where we were thinking about the possible assassin picks between Jensen and Caps himself, where Jensen hasn't used much Irelia or Akali, yet Caps has. So, him taking the LeBlanc away, which has been—
I think that'll be huge.
It's the primary assassin that Jensen has used. Not only was it well used by Caps, but it was also a takeaway from Cloud9. So, a lot of value there.
Well, we are into the draft as we have teams switching sides, as so far most of these bans look very much the same as last time. 2 more choices to go, and we'll see if that LeBlanc can go to Cloud9's hands, or Fnatic are more worried about denying it. It's actually Cloud9 denying this. They would rather pick something else first.
Triple bans thrown at Caps / possible flex picks there, and that is a lot of respect.
So Urgot is still open now. Aatrox open as well, but Viktor, of course, is there as the potential counter pick against Aatrox. So not expecting that as the first pick. It is instead just the Viktor first pick itself.
Expect the unexpected, my friend.
No one wants to pick Aatrox anymore, poor guy.
Well, we'll see. Of course, the Hecarim flex pick, or the counter pick, I should say, is there for Cloud9 as well. If that were to happen, we'll see what Fnatic want to do. A lot of those cream of the crop champions, though, still available, and we'll see what comes through.
All right, one thing that he does very well is mobility, and mobility has been incredibly important so far this tournament. Rakan, we saw in the last game where once they were ahead, Fnatic had these lightning quick engages, and that made it very, very easy for them to continue to get picks and force the fights across the map. So if they do get a lead, this has been very big for Hylissang.
Let's see if they value Zhao here on the Fnatic side and take that away from Svenskeren. Obviously, based on last game, it wasn't that scary, but it is still considered the best early game jungler in the professional scene. Cloud9, Braum, Lucian, do they want to get that strong bot lane? They have to take it now.
I would also think about taking the other side of the matchup there. Svenskeren's Licen, we haven't seen it that much recently, but it has been a pick that he has also been very good on and does have those options as far as the extra mobility to try and work away from the Xin.
And I can see Cloud9 taking the Aatrox, sending it top, and challenging Fnatic to try an Urgot for themselves. They've only played it once here for Bwipo, and they've banned it more than half of their games. So not a champion seemingly Fnatic are willing to play or all that practiced on. So this is actually a fairly safe blind, and I'm curious what other counters Bwipo has. His Swain is still up, for example, so I'm very curious what he will play here.
To see also jungle-wise, you asked for Licen. I would also love to see his Licen, but it is going to be the Graves pick that he used in the quarterfinals against the FLICKR. So you have now for C9 the Viktor Aatrox that can be flexed between both solo laners, and then of course the Graves locked into the jungle.
And C9 do have a lot of scaling right now on their composition. Viktor, usually past like the 10 to 13 minute mark, needs to scale up a bit.
We saw that yesterday.
Get the cooldown reduction. Graves also scaling, but here we go. Early game, Jayce, very, very scary because the Invictus Gaming solo laners made incredible use of this champion. We'll see if Fnatic can do the same.
And the Korean-Chinese Jayce is really good. We'll see what the Danish or Belgian, I believe, Jayce is like here for Fnatic. I'll wait to go through this one. I got a thumbs up. I was pretty sure I had the country right.
You got it. You nailed it.
Pretty sure I know where they're all from. Either way, there's the Lucian ban yet again, and I'm curious what else gets drafted away. If Sivir finally gets banned out from Rekkles, it's still just the Xayah ban so far for the combination, but we'll wait to see what else comes through into this draft.
Yeah, it's good to see Fnatic just respecting that Lucian pick. There's no reason to give C9 that potential winning bot lane, and Draven as well, the same deal.
And I think it's so important because they need an area of the map that isn't a losing lane, that doesn't have to scale up. You cannot have all scaling we've seen this tournament. You just get absolutely run over in the early game. You need to get somewhere that is pushing lane to try and play off of so you don't lose all neutral objectives early on.
If you are Fnatic, you obviously want to see where the Aatrox is going and ideally put the Jayce against that Aatrox. If you didn't watch yesterday, early laning phase was just so heavily favored to Jayce against the Aatrox. He was always up in CS, pushing onto the turret, even getting solo kills in some of the games. No surprise here for Fnatic with Sivir, and they can still wait with the last pick.
And the thing is too, with those types of matchup, you kind of need a jungler that brings crowd control if you want to try and kill the Jayce or alleviate some of that pressure, and that is not the case here. So once again, Fnatic looking pretty strong as far as the opening of their draft. Let's see what Cloud9 will respond to with the bottom lane.
All right, well, another flex round. And look at this with Lissandra picked up on top of that one. That means we've got some really non-standard picks coming through here. That's maybe a Viktor bot or something else, but this is going to be an exciting draft.
I do know Sneaky plays a lot of Viktor when he does play other lanes, when he has to play mid lane, so he at least has played the champion a lot. I'm not saying, that is going to be the pick for him or, where they're swapping these around to, but it could be.
Well, either way, it's going to be a very exciting draft. The only marksman going to be played by Svenskeren in the jungle for Cloud9 as Fnatic will lock in their final pick. They seemingly need magic damage, and Azir is certainly the emperor of that as Caps brings it into the mid lane.
They feel confident they can take Azir against anything in the mid lane from C9 right now. Azir has actually been one of the picks we've seen as a last pick pretty often, not to win the early game, but because he's long range, makes him a very safe choice in mid, and then he gets to his teamfighting stage on 2 items and becomes a powerhouse. So Fnatic got a bit of early game, but also great scaling based on mid and AD carry.
Yeah, and I think the lane phase looks very good with them. Jayce has the range advantage over Aatrox. You can harass him, then you drop into the brush up on top side to drop the minion aggro. Azir also can outrange Lissandra. The only thing Azir has to worry about is the all-ins, and he looks like he's taking cleanse there to try and get out of those ganks.
But in the bottom lane from C9, Viktor coming in from Sneaky, Leona from Zeyzal. They're gonna pair up this Viktor burst with the engage from the Leona, and it's against a Sivir. But we have to remember, if Leona engages onto her, she will get to the target, and if you waste your spell shield as a Sivir, you're gonna get stunned, and you're gonna get bursted down very quickly.
There's so much crowd control on the Cloud9 side in the bottom lane. We'll see if that ends up being punishing.
Yeah, we'll see it. Sneaky gonna be taking the Viktor here. We've seen him use it on stream, but now at Worlds in the semifinals, the Viktor Leona lane for the bottom. Will this be the surprise card that Cloud9 need to get back into this series?
And will it be the comeback that North American fans and C9 themselves are hoping for in this one? Fnatic handily took game 1. We have seen game 1 not necessarily mean the series. Fnatic themselves dropped game 1 and beat EDG. G2 in the quarterfinals dropped game 1 to RNG and still won that series as well, despite how not close those games were. So now, on to Summoner's Rift. It's time for game 2.
I am definitely going to have my eyes on Broxah. Looking for some aggressive pathing here from the Zhao to maybe even split the top side of the map and try and secure some area for Bwipo to work with. Bwipo is a very aggressive top laner, always looking for trades, and wants to be able to abuse this pick.
See, my right eye, agree with you, will be on Broxah. My left eye, on the other hand, will look at the bottom lane from C9 and this Viktor pick. They grab it early. We saw last game Bwipo doing super well on a top lane, but they didn't move it to that top side. I want to see if they can actually utilize it with the Leona here. The kill pressure they're going to have with Ignite as well on Zeyzal. It's a lot of early game damage just from the support alone.
And already there are differences here you can see with Sneaky's rune choice. He's taking Airy for trading in the bottom side of the map, not the kleptomancy that we see for the top side, trying to farm up there. Definitely makes a lot of sense. He also has domination. Usually, I can't see those domination runes, but usually you'll get Taste of Blood, as well as Ravenous Hunter for the extra healing, and that is for sustain in lane.
All right, so once again, you've got Caps with Cleanse versus Jensen's Lissandra. He was really good at getting away from those ganks before. We'll see the attempt once again here as Licorice and Bwipo get to their lanes, and the mid laners fight as well.
Yeah, this is the problem for C9. Even though it was fancy with the Viktor swap to bottom side, they end up with this Aatrox versus Jayce lane. Now, there could be a difference between Bwipo's Jayce and the Shy's Jayce. Of course, definitely I've seen a lot of Western Jayce players struggle in the past to actually snowball games. Bwipo can prove everyone wrong and say that he has actually practiced this enough to hard win this matchup because it is a good lane for him.
And Bwipo came in with confidence. He said he looked at that Freak of Freaks match where Keen had done so well in that 1v1. He said, if I can go anywhere close to that, I'm pretty sure I can really show Licorice what's up. And in game one, that was true. Maybe some jungle help as the bot laners fight. We'll see what this game looks like in that top lane matchup as well.
Yeah, I was going to say, Bwipo definitely has the right mentality for it. As far as being very aggressive, pushing in Licorice, zoning him off the minion wave here, and trying to use his Shock Blast to land an extra bit of damage. Licorice now looking for maybe the long Q on the minion.
Bwipo gets that trade outside of turret range, so still that has advantages to the Fnatic top side, and the wave will slowly push towards Licorice. He will gain the XP, not zoned out of this, but advantage is still going to Fnatic's side.
Like we were talking about, Graves does not bring hard CC like a lot of junglers do. He does bring a lot of damage though. So if Licorice can actually set it up, then there is a possibility. I don't see it being super likely. Bottom side, though, trading very heavily, so that might be the area junglers do gravitate towards.
And crucially, that is a pre-level 3 fight right there. When 3 comes through, as this fight happens at the top side, a lot of health, actually, that Bwipo might lose, but Svenskeren's going to run away. But at 3, Sneaky gets the ability to stun whatever the setup is from Zeyzal, and that can start really turning this around.
Yeah, Fnatic always have to be careful. Another one.
Ooh, and they wait out the spell shield for Rekkles, who's going to be stunned up now, takes some damage, but really good shielding Hylissang, weaving those E's through quite nicely.
But I like that. Saving the spell shield for the actual Q stun is what you're trying to do as Rekkles. Obviously, Zeyzal knew that was going to happen, as you highlighted, Freak. So always mind games in the bottom lane when you play against spell shields. Meanwhile, top Svenskeren did show up, got a bit of damage on Bwipo, and that was basically it. But the Jayce is currently out of mana, and Licorice is trying his best to just match farm. He's slightly down early on.
Yeah, that was the main point of Svenskeren showing his face up there, was there's so many minions in front of the turret. He was trying to buy Licorice time to get some last hits there in front. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, again, this exchange going pretty heavily in favor of the damage for the Azir.
Never mind.
This one goes for Licorice.
Yeah, that's actually pretty solid there in that top side. We know that Broxah is nearby and can come through if he's needed.
All right, so first trade, we got to see Licorice actually win. Obviously, Bwipo is low on mana, as we highlighted before. He will go back and use TP to lane, most likely. Meanwhile, in mid, as we highlighted with the last pick, against Lissandra, like long-range poke is just so effective because she can only really all in if she wants to threaten you properly, and that's why he sits with Cleanse and a dash on the Azir.
Yeah. But that's also why you see the teleport for the Lissandra. And Jensen, his teleport has actually been forced out already. And that's the reason that why he's staying even in CS right now. Has already used his first teleport back to lane after he was forced out there by the harassment of Azir's long range.
I want to see if C9 maybe go for a play into that mid side though and force the cleanse out early from Caps, then try again at 6 maybe while the health bar is still low. And you have to give him kind of an itchy trigger finger to make sure he can stay safe.
For now, both junglers have been farming, other than that one little peek towards top side from Svenskeren. We are kind of waiting for Broxah to pull the trigger first. It feels like on a Zhao. Graves would love to just say, okay, no one is ganking anything. Let's just trade farm for like 10 minutes. That is great for Svenskeren specifically.
First to level 5, Svenskeren's jungle's going so far okay. And they've matched pretty similar on the recalls there. And a bit of vision coming out for Broxah's side. Going to be spotted out now by Sven as well.
Mid laner's recalling, so Sven trying to get there in time, but Broxah does a good job killing this Scuttle Crab so quickly. Let's see if he continues with his invade though.
There is a smite up for Svenskeren, but not one for Broxah. With Zeyzal around, he actually could have creep-jacked him, but don't know he was there, it seems.
So, and that was with both the bottom lane and the mid lane having recall.
Oh, they found him now, though. The stun is in. He's already burned the flash as well. Is this the kill? But out of nowhere, Hylissang Hylissang is in and finds the save. The Ignite's not going to be enough, and Fnatic survive.
Yeah, the reason Svenskeren was waiting because he needed some more support. He knew the Fnatic bot lane had recall, but he didn't know exactly where it would be in terms of running back to the lane. Were they already in the jungle? Were they near the tier 2 turret or not? But the moment Zeyzal showed up, he knew, okay, you can force a flash here. It's a good early advantage in the jungle matchup. And that could be important to try and stop Bwipo later from just perma-pushing his top side, because Aatrox will need help, as we can see right now in terms of CS difference. Well, bot again.
Big stun coming across as well. Later knocked on Hylissang, but good positioning by Rekkles to let him dodge away out of that stun circle. And the game overall as a position, 100 gold lead for Fnatic. Their overall laning phase, most of that being done in the top side with 11 CS difference. Fnatic slightly ahead in this early game.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Sneaky definitely showing his experience on this Viktor pick, even though not too much in the bottom side of the map. As you said, it was really important that Rekkles positions far away from Hylissang so they get the max distance outside of the gravity field there to avoid that chain CC that you were talking about earlier, Freak.
We will most likely see when they actually go for another all-in that they try and get onto the Sivir, but she cannot dash out of the stun from Viktor the moment she gets CC'd. And as long as Zeyzal just holds on to his Q until spell shield is gone, he actually has the advantage because it's just a quick animation. And if they manage to do that, Rekkles will be stunned in place for quite a while, and that could be enough to kill him. But for now, he's playing very safe.
Also, this bottom lane presence for Cloud9 has allowed Svenskeren to move in and take control of the river around Dragon. He could actually do it, but they don't have any vision on Broxah, so he's a little bit worried where the positioning of Zhao is, since there's no deep wards in this game, and he's kind of hovering around a possible dive or counter gank here from the bottom lane.
New ward gets put in place right there to spot him. He will steal away the blue buff. Zeyzal can roam up and help him as well. And if you are Fnatic on bot side, you're just trying to hold on. You're just trying to survive. You know Sivir in late game teamfights will be a massive threat, a massive advantage for you. But early on, it's hard for her to do a whole lot against the Viktor and Leona. So right now, it's just a battle against the clock almost, where Fnatic, they know eventually they will get dived, they will get, you know, ganked by TP coming from Jensen, something like that, and the bot laner will die.
Okay, ult on a Rekkles, though. He's not level 6, so he could lose a lot of health here. Burn Summoner, heal to get away from that fight. Ult down, and not another shot will land.
See if the junglers actually do get involved, because they left behind a little bit of vision there. They've seen Broxah at the Gromp right now. Meanwhile, Svenskeren keeps up his power farm as well.
Cap's doing really well in the mid lane. Mana's getting a little bit low, but he has another Corrupting Potion stack if needed, and so far he feels safe. Broxah spotted by the Scuttle Crab, and Svenskeren waiting around on the wings, but no fights to be had just yet. Still a very close game. This one now Cloud9, 200 gold ahead.
I think they want the 2v2 here, even though Cap's a little bit low on mana.
Yeah, I don't know if Caps can do a full combo. They actually might not want to fight because of this. Junglers equal levels and similar on items. Boots up for Broxah.
We also know if a fight breaks out in the bot side river, it's C9's bot lane that's roaming first to join and try and turn it around. Caps' job is effectively to try and keep this lane pushed. So if Jensen ever leaves, roam or TP, the turret will take a ton of damage, or Caps can decide to move instantly and try and match a counter gank in the bottom lane.
And I think it is very important also to look at the experience there for the bottom lane. Zeyzal, once he hits level 6, then you do have a possibility of a big long-range stun to actually come in and change the fates of one of those teamfights. But as of right now, a lot of defensive vision for Fnatic in the river. You can see control wards on the top side, as well as trinket wards on the bottom side of the river. So Cloud9 don't have a lot of routes to create offensive plays, and they just continue to farm away.
Well, it's been a fairly slow-paced early game. Cloud9 actually have a positive win rate with a gold deficit at 15. They've actually been able to make comebacks happen. They're, despite a high first blood rate, not the most dominant early game team, but as you're mentioning, the overall scaling for Fnatic quite good. That Sivir at about 380 CS gets to full items, and Rekkles can completely take over a game from that point onwards, and arguably before then. First few recall stuff coming through. Sneaky on his second Hex Core Augment. That was his first recall. Stayed on for a very long time. Blue handed off to Jensen. And we'll see as Caps is pretty much full resources. Going to be, of course, missing that one as it was stolen a little while ago by Svenskeren. Still a holding pattern in the early game. Only a couple hundred gold difference between these teams.
Yeah, we're kind of just waiting for that fight in the bot lane, but Rekkles and Hylissang are just staying so far back. Quick little trade for Sneaky right there. Nothing Rekkles can do in return. He needs to always save the spell shield for that potential engage. Meanwhile, Svenskeren trying to control the bot side river with the scuttler here.
It's actually pretty fortunate it's been bot side scuttle so many times. That is the one pressured lane that C9 has. Svenskeren can keep coming down to this bottom river, and it's been a source of strength here. This Cloud Drake not picked up just yet. There's really been a very low Drake pressure series so far.
Yeah, I'm just kind of waiting for the tower dive from C9 against the bot lane of Fnatic, or at least when they move in behind the turret and then force Fnatic to run away to take that first turret of the game, because they know eventually the Jayce will take the top lane turret if nothing happens and it's just a pure 1v1.
Yeah.
C9, they do have the option with Lissandra and Graves.
Big trade right here, pulling Bwipo back, who's a bit low on mana now, but Licorice on a half HP. No one's coming to his side just yet, but this might be the time to go for the dive from the other side. There's the ward over the wall, not going to be stolen. And it's going to be still equal farm the two junglers. So another fight continues up the top side, pretty decent damage. Trading blows, but of course a very nice CS lead for Bwipo. TP's available for the top laners. Now we're going to find that stun. The engage, look at the burst damage. And finally Cloud9 get first blood.
All right, let's see if they turn this into an objective afterwards. Broxah is on the bottom side, so they're going to start up this dragon, and there's a possible answer. Bwipo's recalling right now to heal up. Maybe he teleports in, even though they lost Hylissang.
It depends what the wards and the waves look like, though, because, of course, Viktor, it's completely free to push waves in here, so Cloud Drake going to be a formality here. Cena going to pick that one up after their 700 gold lead, and Zeyzal on the way towards mid, ultiless, but no prey to find here.
Yeah, I like the fact that he just goes back to the top lane with the Jayce. His goal is to win that lane as hard as possible while bot lane is surviving. It is obviously not to try and save the day just yet by going down here. Around mid lane, Caps and Jensen fighting.
A lot of damage coming through, looking for the play, not looking to find it. The
Oh, they get it!
Just in range, the knockup is there, though. They might get him. Jensen has to self-ult to stay alive. Pretty big plays, though, on both sides. No kills, ult's burned, and a huge knockback. That was sick by Caps. Over the wall he goes, the CC towards Zeyzal, but he's tanky, and C9 walk away 0 for 0.
Very, very close action here in the mid lane. Even after Jensen stops in point-blank range there, Hylissang does go for that dive with the Rakan, and now 5 members of Fnatic are around mid lane.
Oh, shock blast! And Bwipo finds himself the solo kill. Hard work done by his teammates.
Oh, he walked down from the top lane. He knew Jensen could be around, recalling fairly low. Jensen could not flash in time, and it's Bwipo with the kill.
Big cash in right there for Bwipo. Wasn't able to get that big of a money lead off of the top lane there alone with Licorice, but just comes down to the mid lane to cash in, finds his gold there, and now he does have the Ghost Blade, so the lethality starting to come through and is building up.
But we will most likely see a C9 kill bot lane now. Both summoners were used by Hylissang mid when he tried to get in charm range to stop Jensen from ulting himself. Couldn't just get there in time until it was under the turret. But now with no flash, squishy Rakan, all in from C9 is so powerful. Like, their goal is to get this bot lane tier 1 turret as fast as possible, start opening up the game, because when you do that, you also stop the Jayce from taking over the top lane. And right now, Licorice is trying to slow down this push.
Yeah, I'm super interested to see if Hylissang's purchase of the Mercury Treads tenacity is going to be enough to find him that split second in between the crowd controls to try and disallow the Cloud9 stacking, but we'll see if that is enough. Right now, again, controlling this vision ward, around the river. Control wards put down for Fnatic to see the constant movement between bottom and mid.
Crazy shift, however, in game speed or amount of action compared to the first game, where Fnatic at this point were up 10 kills and 5-6k gold.
Very true.
Now it is, of course, a slower composition with the Azir, with the Sivir, and then the Viktor Leona pick in the bottom lane, kind of dictating everything on the bot side. Svenskeren fighting again.
Yeah, good damage there in the jungle, pushing forward. Zeyzal nearby as well. Looks for Broxah, doesn't go in though. And it's still Caps being pushed back at half HP, has to run away.
Yeah, I think they were possibly thinking about forcing the flash there from Caps since his cleanse is on cooldown, and Zeyzal did have the ultimate. They were going to trade those CDs, but here we go. Broxah actually might find him.
Spotted on both sides there with wards coming down, and it's going to be safe wave for Caps as Cloud9's going to walk away from this one as Jensen makes his way to the river. Still no turrets going down yet.
They're trying to just control the jungle by battle warding, as we hear a lot of people call it, when you just invade in with champions more than necessarily wards, and you just force them out.
There's the jump forward, a route towards Hylissang, still summonerless but staying alive. He jumps back to a teammate. And a nice blue buff steal now. Bwipo actually answering back what Svenskeren had done a few minutes ago. It's going to feel pretty good, but the trade can continue now. Can anyone join into this fight soon as Hylissang's coming over, but so is Jensen. This is going to be very quickly a 2-on-3 as they run towards the Herald. The ult's going to find the stun. They're going in for Cass, but he's knocked back in the turret. Is it the burst damage? Yes, Zeyzal has all the kills on C9 and gets away from the turret. He's burning, though, and it will be a trade kill. Nicely done to Broxah.
And they're not done yet. Bwipo here trying to snipe people as they siege up on the turret. This whole time, Rekkles is pushing the bottom lane turret. So C9 trying to get some damage and answer.
And no one answering bottom lane is a very good thing for Fnatic. Look how low this wave, but this could die this very wave right here unless C9 rush it down faster. They are staying, but Broxah's cleared the wave away. And hard CC for Hylissang. He might lose his life, but he saves the turret. It gives first turret gold to Rekkles.
What a play there. Hylissang actually with a big sacrifice to be able to get that small timing window to earn them that bonus. Topside, they are going to use the teleport to get back out on the field, though, and stop that damage as well.
All right, let's see what happened right here. No cleanse in the mid lane from Caps. He actually gets stunned by the ulti, and then of course Zeyzal can engage onto him, but with the knockback, they get Leona under the turret, and then she ends up going down in the end with the dot here. Meanwhile, I think Bwipo had to flash over the Rift Hell wall because Licorice was chasing him.
Yeah.
So no flash topside from the Jayce. Licorice got to push in the turret as well, but mid lane stayed alive for now. Fnatic slightly ahead in gold. More action is coming, and we keep looking towards the hard engage from the support.
That whole time, you know, with the roam mid from the bottom lane of Cloud9, Rekkles now actually has caught up and is ahead in CS in addition to the solo turret bonus gold that he got. So that's exactly where Fnatic want to put money, is on the Sivir, try and get those items.
Yeah, it really felt like the easy choice for C9 was just to go bot lane and secure the turret. Let's see what happens here.
They lose the shield up in time to not get burst down, but he's still at half HP, looking for a bit more. He's going to find a stun, but spell shielded by Rekkles. And an easy 1-for-0, another well-played fight by the European team.
And this is kind of the problem now for C9 when they lost this bot lane turret is Fnatic don't have to sit there anymore with Sivir and the Rakan. Those two targets were getting pushed on the turret. You could have set up a tower dive very easily, killed them, taken an objective, but because they kept moving towards mid, they've given Rekkles enough time to get out of this really tough laning phase. And suddenly, it's Fnatic around mid lane getting a kill.
Fnatic kind of forcing C9 to play more of a macro game, playing around the side lanes, make the good rotations, and all C9 wanted to do was dive, dive, dive. They've not done a whole lot of that just yet, but now, looking at the top side, the 1v1, of course, keep in mind it's a summonerless Bwipo, but he's playing this so well, pushing back Licorice, dodging a shock blast, but these trades keep going the way of Fnatic.
And look at the difference here. C9 putting more people on top side of the map to go for aggressive plays on the Jayce and the Rift Herald, whereas Fnatic taking up the Ocean Drake for themselves for the regeneration, and they don't even have enough time to actually answer with the Rift Herald here. So Fnatic getting away with an extra objective there.
Let's see where Fnatic puts Rekkles right now, because of course both Sivir and Azir kind of want to sit around the mid lane. Typically you just want to push the one side lane where Rekkles or Caps are sitting, and then go join the rest of the team in mid, and you play the 1-4 setup where Jayce is the only split pusher on your team. Rekkles can do that now, but it does mean C9 gets the first push in mid with more members.
Well, they're known to dive. They're going to find a slow on the Caps. Will they find the re-engage? Zeyzal not going to cheat far enough forward, but this turret's at 5 health. It will be cleared down, so one on the board for C9. But it's still Fnatic up about 1,000 gold in this game. Rekkles shoved in the bot wave. It's getting denied to the turret right now. And we've seen that Bwipo is constantly able to win these trades up against Licorice, popping the Youmu's. Staying fine.
He's not been able to perma-push the lane for a while because C9 has kept so many players around mid who could then eventually go top, as Kobe highlighted just before. Now he might get a chance as it's Fnatic's turn to push, and you will constantly see trades. When Fnatic push out bot lane, they give up control mid. When they go mid then with 4 players, it's C9 who has to go bot with someone and take the minions, so they have to give up control in mid, and it's a constant trade back and forth. The team who makes the mistake and disrespects the number advantage, they're the team who's going to lose someone or an objective somewhere.
And everybody gravitating up to the top side of the map here towards Rift Herald. It does despawn as Baron comes to play inside the pit, but not before Fnatic have taken another turret for themselves. Top side now also down, and the only one left standing on the outside here for Cloud9 is the mid lane for them to try and defend around.
So 1,500 gold up is Fnatic at the 20-minute mark here. Not quite the difference we had in game 1, but a lead nonetheless. And Fnatic so far looking like the better team on the day. And we'll see what later game Jayce looks like. So far, Bwipo's been laning well, and he's gotten that one snipe earlier on. We've yet to find ourselves these catastrophic team fights As we wait, Rekkles almost at 2 items here. Jayce, notably not normally a good team fighter, but Azir has got that Nashor's Tooth done and is pretty much online now for that.
Very, very true. Small change here compared to yesterday's Jayce, where we got the double lethality early on that would hit people for like 60% of their HP when he landed a shock blast at 20 minutes. It is Black Cleaver instead, so focusing a little bit more on shredding armor against more tanky members, not necessarily the big squishies.
You've got 2 Aftershock members, and even Leona just prints armor onto herself by pressing W, so it's a good idea based on what you're hitting here. I think it's a very good build, and we will continue to wait as it's the much slower paced game. Not these dives we're normally seeing from C9 throughout the quarterfinals and the group stage. Fnatic able to play reactive, able to get a lot of farm. In fact, every single lane out-farming their opposite member here. Yeah,
especially Caps in the mid lane there. He's got the completed Banshee's Veil now. That, in addition to his cleanse, might allow him to get out of this, and fairly easily, we can say.
Just shuffles himself out, loses the Banshee's Veil, but doesn't mean enough. Top lane might fall, but mid's going to be answered. Fnatic consistently able to put pressure on this map, and though top lane will eventually drop, you have to imagine they're still getting more and more out of this one. All 3 outer turrets are gone, and Hylissang sees Zeyzal's here, kites back, stays alive.
C9 spending a lot of time hiding in the jungle, hoping to find that one pick. Either someone would walk through the jungle to defend top lane, or they could get onto Caps, but in the end, they only get the top lane turret. Bot lane did stay alive as well. Jensen, can he find a good engage here?
He's spotty. He's going to try, though, coming over the wall, looking for the play there. Not an ult just yet. Rekkles cutting away. Fast pops the spell shield. Not going to drop, though. We saw the bot lane split push go pretty well. That turret's down to about 1/3 as Bwipo keeps making the pressure happen. And Fnatic's so good at disengaging, denying these C9 dives, and continuing to leverage that Jayce versus Aatrox match.
Ooh, just missed right there. Hylissang was face checking.
The double knockup is in. The third charm is there as well. Here comes the shuffle. There's going to be a stun on the cast, but he cleanses it away. Zeyzal's low flashing out of this one. So far, all the team is staying alive, but Licorice joins in. Caps dies. Broxah might be next. He's running away. They're going to jump forward. They find a bit of damage. They're going to find the second kill. C9 get a 2-for-0 team fight.
Yeah, they wanted to flash for that kill because taking down Broxah means there's no smite for Fnatic. Will they now force on the Baron? Zeyzal has gone back to base because he was so low in spend.
He's down to 300 himself, but they got to watch out for any other shock blasts or boomerangs, and you can see he's kind of running away for this one now. So Fnatic, despite being 3-on-5 on the map, still able to play for minion waves first.
Fnatic, they face check, dodged the first engage, and then called for the all-in, but the Jayce was not there. He was running to the fight, didn't get to join in time. So Fnatic, while they did manage to actually get a fine engage at first, didn't seem like they had not enough damage here. Let's watch it again. So Engage comes in with 4 members. Look on your minimap, the Jayce is currently not there. All in, nice flash from Sneaky, and Caps then gets stunned in the middle of the fight, and no one's dropping down. Lissandra with the great ulti as well.
Yeah, Bwipo did not have his teleport, so that's why the Jayce was so late here. Licorice teleports in on the Aatrox, but no Jayce teleport to answer, and Cloud9 are able to get some kills for themselves with an Infernal Drake coming up in less than 50 seconds here on the map. We very well may have another fight shortly.
Well, the timing is going to allow for all the ultimates to be back up from cooldown, but the summoner spells burned in that last fight will not be available. And you can see Rekkles already putting out pretty good work in these fights. 2,300, and that one tops the charts, and it's only going to get better from there.
Exactly. He's not on IH yet. He won't have it for this fight either when the Infernal spawns. C9 have a lot of damage on their side with Svenskeren on this Graves here, sitting on a completed Black Cleaver as well. So C9 definitely wants to look for more fights, right now. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, Jensen tries to sneak in the brush.
So far in the fog, but look at how far back Cap's playing. He hugs the river, stays away from the brush, stays away from the fog of war, and always safe in these ones, so good heads-up play there. The mid lane is cleared back and forth, but now the Infernal is alive. Bwipo has TP, but is running down from the top lane already, and Caps is soloing this Drake.
Yeah, Cloud9 have more members here, though. They might be able to burn it down before Fnatic arrive.
Yeah, it's theirs. And spawning Caps, they did. They know Baron can't be rushed that fast. Even if Fnatic runs that way, it's not that big of a risk just yet.
It's all about just killing the wards over there for Fnatic. They knew taking this fight would have been too risky. Caps tried his luck by starting it, hoping that C9 would be too far away or just not reacting in time.
Caps having no flash, no cleanse is a very good mark for C9. I do appreciate, again, as you're saying, try to sneak it. If you get lucky, then great. But, you know, making the smart choice of, okay, they showed, we'll back off, no problem here. Good play. And again, I think Fnatic have to play around those cooldowns. Those summoner spells are required to win these team fights. And so for a little while, Cloud9 will have map control.
Yeah, the 2 carries there for Fnatic, both with spell shields. Now, going to be fairly difficult to dive in on, and we'll have to look for layered spells, trying to pop those early in the fight. Whereas Cloud9 now laying down the control wards around Baron, trying to create a pocket of fog of war to look for those picks like we just saw a couple minutes ago. Make use of the Leona and the Lissandra's very quick initiation.
We have pickaxe on Rekkles and about 1,500 gold at this point. He desperately wants the eye edge. But it's C9 who can dictate the pace because they have the Baron control. If they start it, Fnatic have to react. And that's when you can get the all-in engage from C9.
Just look how safe Caps is, right? Clears wards from the back of the pit, has his soldiers ready. C9 puts a new one down, but it's going to be so hard to catch this guy. Cleanses up right about now. Banshee Veil obviously already done a while ago.
It's such a tense moment right now. If you're Fnatic and you keep going towards the late game, it gets just better and better with your Azir and your Sivir. If you are C9, you have so much all-in, so much burst damage. If you can actually catch someone, you take them down in just a matter of seconds.
Hey, here comes the play forward towards Sneaky. The nice flower. What a play out of Bwipo. It's a 5v4 for Fnatic. And the fight continues to the front lines. The rest of the team dives forward. A little bit of low health bars on the Jayce. They're trying to get a trade kill here as C9. They can't get him yet. They finally get the shutdown. It goes over to Graves. But it's a shutdown as well towards Licorice on the top side. Fnatic 2-1.
Yeah, 2-for-1 for Fnatic, and that gives them control over the Baron pit. All those wards we just saw C9 place are going to be cleared out, and they're starting it up.
Such an insane call by Fnatic. They were the ones stalling and waiting while C9 were trying to look for picks, and they all in on the no flash Viktor.
But there is a Graves with a TP and a smite, or a flash and a smite, and the Scryer's Loon's going to spot that Baron for a long time. Jensen poked out. Caps playing it so well. Knocks in Zeyzal. They'll find another kill, and they're back on a Baron, and the vision's going to be hard. Somehow Cloud9 must make another big Baron steal. Hylissang buys the time, and it's not going to be picked up by Cloud9. It will be Fnatic smashing the map.
Broxah gets the smite, and Fnatic also get the kills onto Cloud9. Now they have Baron buff to try and push with.
Perfect timing from Hylissang, trying to get in there and CC the Graves so they could burst down Baron before he had time to flash in. He got in the end, but he couldn't get it. Sneaky's flash, I believe when this whole fight started, just got ready. But it wasn't enough for him to actually get out of the engage from Fnatic.
And Bwipo's own flash there to dodge the Leona stun, get to the side, finish up the kill. To allow them, yes, in the end, they do trade top laners here, but Fnatic, as we saw, with the extra damage, starting up Baron, and then they actually force this. They have confidence in Broxah to be able to secure that.
Yeah, this whole thing is amazing shot calling from Fnatic. Finding the pick in mid, stopping C9 from getting full control of the map, and then Hylissang seizing Svenskeren so he can't get into the pit early enough, and Fnatic secure it. It's been really one of the biggest improvements of this team during this tournament is their Baron setups and how they can manage to do Barons under pressure, not giving a lot of chances for other teams to kill them or steal the Baron.
It's looking really good now for Fnatic. 5,000 gold up. Looking at a quick disengage as mid turret is falling rather low, and a few more shots will put that one in, and Cloud9's going to cede control. Fnatic get farther and farther ahead. Looking at a 2-0 start for this best of 5. They're getting closer and closer to this one as gold lead now closer to 6,000.
And now they also got the items they were looking for before a big 5-on-5 team fight. But they created that great pick in the mid lane. Bwipo and Hylissang on the bottom side. Pushing another one. All outer turrets gone.
And a good macro game for Fnatic. They split the map up. They were able to play fast in game 1. They got a lot of really good ganks out of Broxah. They got every lane ahead, and they just completely crushed it. This one, a lot more slow. Bwipo on the side lane, split pushing. The advantage matchup over Licorice. And that continued to create more and more and more pressure. Fnatic heavily up in turrets here.
And they're very well set up to use this Baron buff effectively. They split their big solo lane range in top and bottom here. Bwipo and Hylissang actually going in on Licorice.
Don't find too much though as Licorice puts in a bit of damage, now being slowed up and woof, down below 1,000 HP as well. And they're going to go for the big play, and this one he's going to have to put the ult, but the minion was in the way. So here comes the hard engage, and it's going to be Fnatic biting off more than they can chew. Cloud9 pick up 2 kills, but their base is under fire. Top inhibitor turret's gone already. Mid one's almost gone as well. Will there be a re-engage? The Banshee's Veil is off. Zeyzal has an ult, but Caps has cleanse.
Oh, gets the slow. Walks away with the cleanse right there. So 2 kills bot lane for C9, but top inhib just died. Mid lane turret didn't drop. But will of course not get that much HP back. Fnatic can easily walk down and actually take it down. Next time they end up pushing. In the end, C9 knew we need to do something. We have to force an engage somewhere or we're just going to lose too many turrets. They couldn't stop their Azir top lane. And this is the engage on bot side.
Yeah, Hylissang goes in. They wanted to try and combo Licorice there before he could pop his ultimate, but the Shock Blast got blocked by minions, and Cloud9, as he said, they commit to the bottom side to try and kill off one of these points of pressure. In doing that, Fnatic take the top inhibitor and almost the mid inhibitor turret. Cloud9, though, back out for the Cloud Drake, and they will secure it.
Take what you can when you're on the map right there. Double Cloud is at least mobility, but might not matter if they're stuck inside their base with a 6,000 gold deficit. Fnatic get kind of all the say of what happened in this game. Elder Dragon will spawn at 37. We'll see if it matters in this one.
And the carries for Fnatic are actually so safe right now. Rekkles, in addition to having Spell Shield, has both Summoners and a QSS. We already talked about Caps and his Banshee's Veil, as well as his Flash being available, and Azir just being such a good champion for self-peeling, that it becomes very difficult for C9 to actually catch them off guard and force it. Here they go, though. They're going on Broxah.
They found a slow, but he has Flash. He's not going to be knocked down. Svenskeren, he's diving forward on this one. Broxah building so much space. And a Charm into the back line. Hylissang getting safe, getting right back away. Now Licorice forced a Flash to the wall. But look at that one as Bwipo knocks him back, but still cutting away. It's still the 5-on-5. Health bar is a bit low, but no kills picked up here. Out they go.
In the end here, Fnatic, they saw an opening for an engage, but then they also noticed Aatrox on the side, and 4 members just instantly switched and chased Licorice instead. They didn't actually get anything. Flash still available on the C9 side.
Yeah.
Hylissang ended up finding 2 players with the knockup, but no one followed him. They all chased the Aatrox.
Okay, here it comes. Fnatic with super minions on top side. Only a couple hits on this mid turret.
Tight timings here. C9 going to clear the wave, and they're going to walk over to top side. Keep in mind, this could be backdoorable easily by Fnatic. Going to walk forward, couple shots in for Bwipo. They knock the turret down. Will this be a fight? In goes Licorice, and it's a big bunch of damage. They popped off one, but here comes the backline access. Licorice forces a flash away. It's 2 for 1, 3 for 1. Kills coming across as C9 pick up the top of the backline. Oh, look at Caps! He's done everything, and Sneaky falls. A massive quadra kill for Caps. This will be 2-0, and Fnatic are a single game away from the World Finals.
Insane ultimate right there from Caps to get the quadra kill and finish out that game.
Massive, massive performance out of the Fnatic mid laner here into this one. He has looked so good all series long. LeBlanc in game 1, Azir in game 2. Pretty much flawless the entire way through this one.
Yeah, so game 1, we saw early game Fnatic dominating. Game 2, we got the late game Fnatic defending from the bot side in the early game, defending mid with all the roams coming from C9 to try and kill them. They managed to stay alive for so long, and in the end, you called it, Freak, some good macro moves to actually find a great pick on Sneaky that gets them the Baron, and then we get these final team fights where it felt like there was enough damage on C9 to kill the front line.
Yeah.
But then there was an Azir standing and just doing doot, 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 and eventually you kill him.
3-item Azir, 3-item
a little bit more than doot, doot, doot.
Works pretty well. They kited it nicely. So well played by Fnatic. And now for a closer look on how that 2-0 start has happened, let's head over to the State Farm Analyst Desk.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. 2-0 lead now for Fnatic in this best of 5. Not quite as dominant as the first game, although the way it ended, they definitely looked like they were still in control and feel much more comfortable on the Rift overall than any of the Cloud9 members.
But that is kind of the nature of the composition that both teams, especially Fnatic, really put together. You're not going to get that same explosive, dominant performance when you have an Azir and a Sivir. You have that late game insurance policy. You can play the big 5v5 because you can create a lot of distance there. And I think that this was a pretty clean sweep by Fnatic.
I want to come to you, though, Jap, because we were talking about, you were very quick to disavow Cloud9 after game 1. Citing the draft as one of the things that, you know, instilled some fear in you.
Right.
They've definitely tried something different and new here in game 2. What were your thoughts on it?
So the thing they stuck with was the solo lane bans, and the LeBlanc ban was very disheartening. But I was actually happy to see the Viktor first pick. Once they flexed at bottom lane, I was like, wow, that was actually super clever at one lane. That's kind of like, I feel like they're drafting trump card.
Yeah.
So the fact that that still wasn't enough to take down Fnatic, because it made them switch things all over the map. Like, it made them play 2 late game laning picks in Azir and Sivir, but they just out-CS'd every single lane and then won team fights. It was impressive by Fnatic.
But at least Cloud9 had something. They had a very destructive draft, right? Their pick power here is insane. Their burst damage is huge. The problem is, the reason, again, why I saw how C9 could win, but I thought Fnatic overall would win a best of 5 is it felt more like controlled explosions that Fnatic could deal with, rather than explosions by C9 that would blow open the game. Just like against EDG, there were these moments like, oh, a double kill, this could be the moment C9 takes it over. But somewhere else on the map, Fnatic were getting more. They never fell into a gold hole. It never feels like they're 5,000, 8,000 gold behind, despite there being highlight moments for the enemy team. And by the end, it takes one big play and the game just ends. It never drags out.
We are just further exploring the rabbit hole of picks. You mentioned gold differentials between Game 1 and Game 2 here on your screen now. C9 actually up just a little bit at 15, where they were down almost 6K in Game 1. And so I think it speaks to, again, just the fact that it was a closer Game 2. But when you look at the compositions, when you look at the how willing Fnatic is to just scale at even gold, it makes that stat look less impressive.
And it's also the fact that, as they were saying, you know, things were going right. You could see where Cloud9 had their win conditions, where Fnatic were going to have their win conditions in terms of the roadmap set by both comps, but it was just a single mistake. And that's what's really troubling when you look at this best of 5. Depending on whatever happens in these last few games, it's the fact that right now Fnatic are winning on a micro level. They're winning in the flex game level, the fact that Cloud9 have to pull out those trump cards, and they're also winning on a macro level, that they're able to find that single pick, know exactly where they need to be on the map, and then execute and destroy and eat up the rest of the
Here's
map.
that pick you're talking about in the mid lane. Sneaky gets obliterated by the flanking Jayce.
Flashless Viktor, fight to follow. Yes, they kill Bwipo because he burned his flash, but they also get Licorice. So then you're put in this situation where you say, okay, we have 4 people alive. We have 1 Ocean Drake. It's going to help us heal up a tiny little bit. Let's go. And you have to be super clean in your communication. Who do you peel for? How do you secure the Baron? And I think they do that. As you watch this, they very quickly secure Svenskeren so he can't get a smite. And there is a misplay by C9 that we have to watch for. Watch Jensen. He's planning to self-ult, but he doesn't get it off.
The tournament here, one thing that we have seen in Worlds 2018 is Baron setups have been better than ever before. We're seeing very much fewer Baron steals. You see Hylissang is over the wall. By the time Svenskeren flashes in, he's out. And like you mentioned, Jat, the self-ult doesn't happen. He was caught between trying to interrupt a smite, maybe try to burst with his self-ult. In the end, does neither. And honestly, the game, one more exception, but the game largely ends through that play.
Oh, absolutely. There is the attempted base defense by Cloud9. Results in a quadra kill for the Fnatic mid laner Caps and the Azir. It was a close fight, but then you see kind of that mid to late game prowess of the Azir damage if left untouched.
And the nature of the composition is with Azir and Sivir, you have so much hyper-scaling potential, but also the fact that you have so much reach. You can play such a safe team fight as long as these 2 carries are still alive.
But the takeaway should be, usually you need a big front line for the Azir to auto-attack away. And at the start, you're thinking this might be C9's fight. However, all the cooldowns are down when the Emperor's Divide comes out, and then who needs a front line when the wall's doing all the work?
Yeah, I was just going to say, I don't think Caps needs a front line at all when
Not
he has
in
such
that
a
case,
perfectly
no.
He
placed
brought his own front
ultimate.
line with the Emperor's Divide.
Soldiers, exactly. I mean, an incredible amount of damage coming out of that champion there in the late game team fight. Frost, what are your thoughts?
But what's also really important is we see 2 back-to-back games where Jensen falls back to the Lissandra because he wants either a safe blind pick or he wants to have the soft answer to LeBlanc to survive the lane phase. And we already saw Rookie take this matchup or take the opposite side where he was Lissandra, and he also got blasted by the Azir. So Caps has shown that he's ready for the counter picks. He understands what the priority picks are, and we don't know how deep his champion pool can still go in this best of 5.
And Caps again picks up your MasterCard player of the game for his performance on that Azir. Jensen really has his work cut out for him if he wants to take this guy down in the next 3 games.
Absolutely. I mean, Caps in this game, but also in this series, has been living up to his pre-tournament expectations. He did have some slightly weaker games in the quarterfinals or in the group stage, but he's really showing up here. You can see it starting in the draft phase. The things that they're willing to do, like the first pick LeBlanc, the fact that Cloud9 is banning Akali and Aurelia, and also LeBlanc on their blue side, and then he's still doing this. He's showing his superiority in this series.
And Fnatic is showing the big outplays, whether it's through Caps or just in Game 1, the style they put out. But they have those core fundamentals that, even in a draft that would have surprised anyone, the Viktor bot lane since sparingly in Korean solo queue, but by no means a meta trend, they were still able to analyze on the fly, lose the minimum, and then take over the game. And that's the sign of a world finalist right there.
But just at the beginning of today, Zhao, we were talking about how Jensen has somewhat returned to his own form, you know, to this aggressive playstyle where he's able to pick up solo kills. So of all the matchups I'm looking at, when I look at that mid lane, I would assume that Jensen is capable of matching up against this guy, and yet Lissandra twice, and yet lose twice.
Listen, if Cloud9 wants any chance in this series, we've never had reverse sweep in Worlds. If they have any chance in the series, Jensen has to beat Caps in the 1v1. no matter what, it has to happen.
And he'll have to do it without side selection. Riot Games' first global sponsor, MasterCard, wants to reward fans who go all out to celebrate the greatest tournament of the year by enhancing their experience and naming them the MasterCard Fans of the Day. More London natives, Nick, Kirsten, Sarah, and Rick, decided to arrive in Gwangju in style by repping some of their favorite players' signature champs, whether it's Ambition's Jarvan, Crown's Talia, or Sneaky's Sivir. Now, Fnatic are just one game away from sweeping C9 and booking their trip to the finals. See if they can close out the series when we return.
When someone cosplays as Sneaky.
Yeah, so pizza.
TP's available for the top laner. Now they're going to find that stun. The engage. Look at the burst damage. They lose the shield up in time to not get burst down, but he's still at half HP. Looking for a bit more. He's going to find a stun, but spell shielded by Rekkles.
Maybe we can stop him. Maybe just go solo. Can we finish? Yeah. Nice one. Last in. Let's go, guys. 6.
It's 2 for 1, 3 for 1. Kills coming across. As C9 picking up the backline. Oh, look at Caps. He's done everything.
Welcome back to Level Up, presented by State Farm. As of patch 8.14, Shelly prioritizes minions and turrets over champions, so try to activate her trinket when the enemy minion wave is cleared so she remains undistracted. Since hard CC can cancel the summoning of Rift Herald, try popping the trinket out of sight, perhaps just out of lane. This makes it harder for the enemy team to interrupt you. A safe summon will also give her a direct line of sight for a turret charge, which at minimum deals 1,500 damage. If executed properly, this offers you a ton of map pressure and allows Rift Herald to do what she loves, net you some sweet turret gold.